While the world is filled with all different types of people, there are certain ones that tend to stand out more than others. A high-value man is a particularly enticing individual, and one that doesn't seem to fit into any particular group or mold. He is a man on his purpose, he is emotionally intelligent, has high self-esteem, and he marches to the beat of his own drum. While it can be difficult to pin down exactly what makes a man high value, there are certain things that high-value men definitely don't do. So with that said, here are 10 things high-value men never do. Number 1. They never compare themselves to others. Constantly comparing yourself to others is a recipe for unhappiness. It leads to jealousy, bitterness and feelings of inferiority. We focus on what we don't have, instead of being thankful for what we do have. This way of thinking is especially damaging when it comes to success. We see other people's success as a threat, instead of something to strive towards. We often wonder why they're not me, I'm just as good as they are. Comparing ourselves to others is a never-ending cycle. There will always be someone who is more successful than you, no matter how successful you become. And the more successful you become, the more people will compare themselves to you. It's a lose-lose situation, and men of high value understand that comparing himself to others is a big waste of time. He is content with his identity and doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. Everyone is on their own journey, and success is relative. What might be a success for him, might not be a success for someone else. When you compare yourself to others, you are only setting yourself up for sadness. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on being the best version of yourself. Focus on your own mission, and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were previously. As long as you were making steps in the right direction, you are on the right track. Number 2. They never make excuses or complain about their situation. When you complain, you instantly adopt the victim mindset. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept it. Everything else is insanity. A high-value man is a doer, not a complainer. He never makes excuses for his efforts, or blames others for his issues. He understands that if he wants something done, he has to do it himself. Protesting and complaining never makes anything better. Making excuses is a sign of fragility, and a lack of responsibility. It shows that you are not in control of your actions, and you are not willing to take responsibility for your life. A true man of high value always ensures he never puts himself in a position where he has to make excuses. One of the most repulsive things about a person is when they are always complaining or making excuses. It's really unpleasant, and it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. Women never want to be with a man who is always protesting and complaining. Not only women, but all people in general. No one wants to be around someone who is always pessimistic and brings them down. Number 3. They don't care what others think of them. What others think of you has nothing to do with you. You are not in charge of other people's opinions of you. High-value men are not concerned with what other people think of them. Ass-kissing is a form of codependency. We try to control how other people see us, and we base our self-worth on their acceptance. This leads to a lot of stress and anxiety. We become timid to make mistakes or take risks, since we don't want to damage our reputation. Many people live in a constant state of fear, always trying to please others and submit to their expectations. However, this is not the way a high-value man behaves. These men are not afraid to be unique. They embrace how different they are, and are comfortable with who they are. They live their lives according to their own standards and values, and they don't let others dictate how they should live their life. While respecting other people's opinions is important, you should never allow them to take control of your life. You are the only one who understands what's best for you. People will always toss stones in your path. What will happen will depend on what you make out of it, a bridge or a wall, so buck up and move on. Number 4. They never badmouth or talk down to anyone. Being conceited and talking down to others not only makes you look bad, however it also makes you feel horrible. Being conceited is a form of low self-esteem. It's a way of masking your own insecurities by putting other people down. There's a big difference between being confident and being conceited. Confidence is based on actual accomplishments, while conceited is based on the false belief that you are better than others. A true high-value man is confident, however he never talks down to others. Everyone is equal, and no one is better than anyone else. They treat everyone with respect, despite their social status or achievements. When talking to someone, high-value men are always aware of their body language and tone of voice. They understand that how you say something is just as important as what you say. They never raise their voice or talk over others. Doing so would only make them look like a bully. People often mistake these guys' confidence for arrogance, however that couldn't be further from the truth. A true high-value man is confident, since he understands his own worth. He doesn't feel the need to put others down to feel good about himself. Number 5. They never seek acceptance for doing what's right. Life is not a popularity contest. A man of high value will do the right thing without being asked and with no expectations. They do it because it's right, not because they want recognition or praise. A true high-value man is an excellent role model for others. He never seeks approval or validation from anyone. He leads by example and never asks for anything in return. While low-value men often need praise and recognition to feel good about themselves, a man of high value is content with doing good, simply because it is the right thing to do. He knows that his actions speak louder than words, and the only approval he needs is from himself. These men prefer the harsh criticism of a single intelligent man, to the thoughtless approval of the masses. When low-value men start out to do something creative, especially if it seems a little unusual, they seek approval often from those least inclined to give it. However, a creative life cannot be sustained by approval any more than it can be destroyed by criticism. Number 6. They never allow themselves to be taken advantage of. While these men are generous and helpful, they never allow themselves to be taken advantage of. They know their worth, and will not tolerate being treated like a doormat. If someone tries to take advantage of them, they will swiftly put an end to it. They will not allow themselves to be used or manipulated. There are a lot of people in this world who are experts at taking advantage of others. They are manipulative and self-centered, using anyone and everyone to get what they want. However, these men are not fools. They can spot a manipulator a mile away, and will not tolerate being treated like pawns in someone else's game. Sadly, many people do allow themselves to be taken advantage of. They are scared to stand up for themselves just because they don't want to rock the boat. They would rather suffer in silence, instead of confronting the person who is taking advantage of them. This is especially true at work, where people are often timid to speak up for fear of losing their job. Many low-value men also allow themselves to be taken advantage of, just to climb the corporate ladder. They are willing to submit to the dominant social hierarchy, just for the sake of status and power. A true high-value man chooses to live outside of the hierarchy. They are not concerned with status or power, and would rather be free than be chained to a job they hate. Number 7. They know when to keep quiet. Sometimes it's in your best interest to stay quiet. The silence can speak volumes without even saying a word. Never assume that loud is strength and quiet is weak. No response is a response, and it's a powerful one. A true man of high value never says anything that might hurt someone's feelings or cause problems. They knows that sometimes it's better to stay quiet and let others talk. A man of high value is a strong silent type. They don't feel the need to fill every silence with meaningless chatter. They are comfortable with silence, and understands how to use it to their advantage. They often use silence as a way to test others. By remaining silent, they see how the other person reacts. This is a great way to get to know someone, since they are more likely to reveal their true thoughts and feelings when there is no pressure to speak. Sometimes it's really tough to keep our mouths closed. We want to speak our minds, and be honest with our thoughts and feelings, especially when we are upset. By remaining calm and reserved, they diffuses any potential conflict before it has a chance to start. While low-value men often need to be the center of attention, the high-value man is content with being in the background. They love observing others, and everything that is going on around them. Number 8. They try not to come across as all-knowing. You don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. High-value men are not afraid to admit when they don't know something. They know it's impossible to know everything, and they're not afraid to ask for help when needed. They are humble and teachable, and understand that we can all learn from each other. Trying to act like you know everything is a surefire way to end up looking like a fool. We often see people trying to act like they know more than they actually do. They make grandiose statements and try to sound smart, but in reality they have no idea what they're talking about. This behavior is more common than you might think. People are afraid to admit when they don't know something, so they pretend like they do. However, this only leads to embarrassment and frustration. There's no shame in admitting that you need assistance. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. When these men meet someone new, they don't try to impress them with their knowledge. They're humble and curious, and they are more interested in learning about the other person than they are in impressing them. This makes them more likable and approachable. People are drawn to their sincerity and openness, and they're more likely to want to be around them. Number 9. They live in the present moment. Life is too short, and while most people live to go out over the weekend, the high-value man lives for today. The average person uses the weekend as a time to go out and let loose after a long week of work. These men use this time as an opportunity to get ahead. While others are sleeping in, these men are up early and taking advantage of the day. The early bird gets the worm, and high-value men are not afraid to work for it. You might think that these guys are all work and no play, however that's not the case. They understand how to balance work and play. They don't let his work consume them, but they also don't waste his time on meaningless pursuits. Of course, they enjoy the occasional day off, however they don't let it dictate his life. Number 10. They never try to please everyone. You can't make everyone happy, and you'll only end up disappointing yourself in the process. High-value men are not people pleasers. They don't do it since they understand that it's impossible to please everyone all of the time. This doesn't mean that these men are obnoxious or inconsiderate. They just don't waste their time trying to sugarcoat things, or make everyone happy. They don't worry about what other people think of them, and they're not afraid to speak their minds. This allows them to be authentic and honest with the people around them. It's easy to get caught up in other people's opinions. We compare ourselves to others, and try to imitate their success. But this not only leads to feelings of envy and resentment, but it also takes away from our own unique talents and abilities. High-value men know they don't need to please everyone to be successful. They focus on their own goals and aspirations, and they let the haters hate. Your chosen path is yours alone, no one else can walk it and no one else can understand it.